A street dog vows revenge after being abandoned by a human who hated him and recruits an army of dogs to find him. Like most border terriers, Reggie is happy and optimistic and obsessed with his master. Since Doug's ex-girlfriend adopted him a few years ago, they've been inseparable. Ashley found another woman's underwear in her boyfriend's house thanks to the dog, ending their relationship. Ashley tried to take Reggie with her that day before leaving, but Doug forbade her because he didn't like the animal and wanted to keep him to hurt his ex-girlfriend. Despite his owner's neglect, Reggie loves Doug and believes he is loved, so he tries to please him. Doug is a delusional unemployed man who uses drugs all day to escape his miserable life. After being evicted from his apartment for not paying rent, he had to pack to move back in with his mother. The man abandons Reggie and takes him far away before moving. Doug throws the ball, and while the dog catches it, he drives home. Despite being abandoned several times, Reggie always returns the ball to its owner, thinking it's a game. Doug drives the dog 3 hours away from Oakwood and parks it in a lonely alley, furious at not being able to get rid of it. After throwing the ball, the man gets into the truck, leaving Reggie to reach the toy. After catching it, the dog realizes he's lost and wanders the unknown city at dusk with the ball in his mouth. Reggie rests in a corner and wakes up hours later to continue his mission, but gets into trouble. 2 bully dogs recognize Reggie as a newcomer, and a Doberman steals his ball. Bug appears and bravely confronts Reggie's troublemakers despite his short stature. The dog then challenges the 2 big guys to a fight, but they leave. Bug asks Reggie how long he's been a street dog when they leave. As he still thinks it was a joke, the animal tells him how he got there and where he lives. Bug laughs and says Reggie was duped when he hears how Doug got rid of his dog. He was abandoned by his owner and is now a street dog. Reggie is saddened by this reality, but the French bulldog says this could be the best experience of his life and offers to teach his new friend how to live alone on the streets if he follows the rules. First, dogs learn to mark territory by urinating everywhere. Bug must then explain freedom to Reggie. Once concerned about pleasing his owner, he now only needs to please himself. The bulldog says Reggie can do whatever he wants and takes him to the dog park to show him that street dogs have a better life than pets. Bug introduces Reggie to his friends. Hunter, the biggest and friendliest neighborhood dog, is a former police dog who now helps seniors in a nursing home. Maggie, however, is a large dog with a keen sense of smell. Jenna traded her for Bella, a German Shepherd puppy. Bug invites Reggie on a nighttime walk with the gang after introducing his friends. The animal insists on returning to Doug because he thinks a dog's purpose is to make his owner happy. The bulldog is furious and says that a dog's purpose is to enjoy life and do what it wants, not to satisfy its owner. With this speech, Bug convinces Reggie to join them that night and meet in front of the pizzeria. The 4 friends wait until one of the humans drops the pizza on the floor to attack, then eat it. Friday's garbage is full of beer, so the dogs drink until they're dizzy. Everyone then plays with the automatic sprinklers at the park, which the dogs love most. Later that night, they find Chester and invite him to join the gang, but the animal says he can't leave because he thinks his lawn has an invisible fence. After the tour, the dogs team up to urinate on a wall, and Reggie realizes that street dogs can be cooler than adopted dogs. He can now go for a walk whenever he wants without waiting hours for Doug to take him out to do his business. After hearing how Reggie was mistreated by his human, Bug and the others are surprised that the dog loved him. Reggie never realized Doug hated him and romanticized his treatment because he thought this was how a human and dog should be. Reggie is heartbroken when he realizes he wasn't loved when he remembers his time with Doug. Furious, the dog returns home and meets Doug again, this time to avenge him and wipe out his race. Bug and the others accompany him on this journey to help their friend find Doug before he leaves. After walking for hours, the quartet is exhausted and hungry, so Maggie sniffs hot dogs and her friends chase her. Reggie steals sausages and takes dinner for the 4 friends while Bug distracts the salesman. Hunter, the group's right-hand man, fears someone has seen what they've done and many fireworks go off. The dogs flee and leave the sausages, believing this is a divine sign of punishment for their crime. Hunter and Maggie jump over the fence on wooden crates to escape the park, but Reggie and Bug get stuck. The pair must dig a hole and ask friends to open it to escape. However, Reggie, the dog, asks his friends to leave him after his bandana gets caught under the fence. Everyone rallies to help the child escape at that moment. Reggie escapes with Bug's help before a group of teenagers fire more rockets and is thrilled that his friends risk their lives to save him. After the long journey, the pack rests in the forest and spends the night. Maggie tries to talk Reggie out of his revenge plan the next morning as they walk toward Oakwood. The dog advises Reggie to move on from the past, but he won't forgive Doug for his mistreatment. Bug tries to get Hunter to remove his cone because he always wears it. However, the Great Dane claims he needs that cone to prevent ear infections and other issues. The dogs are distracted by the conversation, and Bug is furious when he realizes they're lost. The bulldog is captured by a hawk just as he thinks things can't get worse. Reggie climbs a rock and grabs his friend's paw to save him, but the hawk holds both dogs and supports them. Dennis Quaid, who is in the forest watching birds, hears Bug barking and uses his binoculars to investigate. He is astonished to see a hawk carrying 2 dogs to its nest. The dogs find the cone-shaped mountain and crash into a large tree while flying over the forest. Finally, the 2 friends escape the hawk's fangs, and the branches support them as they fall to the ground without injury. Bug is relieved and thanks Reggie for saving him from the predator. Reggie remembers seeing that cone when he was taken to the nearby town, so the group just needs to head to the mountain. A few miles later, the dogs stop at a mushroom plantation for food after a long time without eating. Starving, they eat the crop and rest to digest it. When they continue their journey, they hallucinate and see things. Maggie suddenly sees stuffed toys in a burrow. She plays with these rabbits with her friends and destroys them. After several hours, the dogs wake up to find several lifeless rabbits and realize the mushrooms have worn off. Only then does the group discover that those animals were not stuffed and were brutally killed for no reason. Bug starts digging and asks his friends to help him bury the rabbits' broken bodies, regretting his actions. Ralph questions 2 police dogs when they appear because he senses something suspicious about that group. Their goal is to find Riley Anderson, an 8-year-old girl who got lost from scouts 2 days ago. The police suspected those street dogs of touching her, but Sheriff says they are innocent. Maggie, a good sniffer, offers to help find the girl, but Ralph declines. He sees Hunter, a former police dog, before leaving. The 2 are longtime friends and happy to meet up, but Hunter feels embarrassed when Ralph asks where he works and says he cares for dying people. Minutes later, humans arrive and capture the group. After being taken to the pound that day, Bug panics because he knows no one will look for him. Emma was his human, and the animal remembers his adoption perfectly. He and his owner played all day together. Emma smiled and loved Bug, even when he messed up. Emma ran toward Bug on the lawn at home and accidentally stepped on his paw. The dog bit the girl out of fear, so her parents took him to be put down because Bug was an aggressive and dangerous dog. Luckily, the bulldog escaped the vet and became a street dog. Bug wants to help Reggie get revenge on Doug because he never forgave Emma and her family for what they did to him, despite surviving danger. While planning her escape from the kennel, Maggie sees a bunch of keys on the wall. Reggie asks all the dogs in that cell to relieve themselves on the floor because they can't reach it. That way, the dogs can escape when Willie cleans up inside. As agreed, the dogs lick everywhere, and the police station smells seconds later. Willie slips on a pile of them when he enters the cell to clean up, and the dogs flee. Before leaving the kennel, Reggie grabs a tennis ball and runs with it in his mouth. That night, the 4 friends walk until they see the sign of an American mail delivery company, and Reggie realizes he is at his old home when he sees the letter carrier. After Bug asks why his friend has been carrying a tennis ball since leaving the kennel, Reggie says he doesn't want to disappoint Doug because he's waiting for his dog to take it home. Reggie was focused on his revenge plan, but as he nears home, he misses Doug and wants to live with him. He always destroyed his owner's shoes and woke him up early to walk, so the dog blames himself for being abandoned. Bug is disappointed and regrets risking his life to help Reggie return to Oakwood. Bug urinates on the dog's bandana after ripping it off and saying Reggie and Doug deserve each other. After his friend's harsh words, Reggie leaves with his ball sad. In the morning, he arrives in Oakwood while Bug and the others search for their town. After a few hours on the road, Bug leaves Hunter and Maggie because he has no family. The dog heads into the forest and meets Riley. Bug wants to run away when he sees the girl because she reminds him of his former owner. However, seeing the girl crying moves the dog, who fights his instincts to approach her. He recalls Ralph's search for a lost Girl Scout in the forest and calls friends for help. 3 barking dogs draw police attention. Their help saves the girl. Ralph asks how he can thank them for their great work, and Bug asks for help saving his friend. However, the German Shepherd says it must smell Reggie to track him. Maggie remembers the bandana and runs for it. Sheriff can't identify the dog's scent because the bandana is wet, so Maggie does the job and finds Reggie's scent. Unfortunately, the dog arrives at Doug's house with his ball, but finds no one. He buries the ball in the garden before leaving after remembering how his owner treated him while walking around the house. Reggie approaches Doug to tell him how he feels, even though he knows he can't understand him. In recent days, the dog has made real friends who have taught him to be loved and valued. Since finding his owner again, Reggie realizes he wasn't abandoned because he was a bad dog, but because Doug is a bad man. Doug attacks Reggie with a baseball bat after saying these words, intending to kill the dog forever. Hunter knocks down the door and attacks Doug after removing the cone from his head. Maggie and Bug visit Reggie, who loves seeing his friends. Doug pushes Hunter away. After Maggie bites his leg, Bug provokes him, destroying the microwave. After smashing the device, he gets angrier and attacks Reggie, but the dog dodges his blows and Doug falls. He quickly gets up, captures Reggie, and threatens to kill him. Bug jumping on Doug's face and Maggie knocking him down cause him to fall headfirst into a bottle, stopping his evil plan. Reggie finally gets his revenge by biting the man's lower parts while his friends hold him down. Doug's cigarette ignites the house, destroying everything he owns, including his truck, which is hit by a lamppost. After his memorable revenge, Reggie returns to the other town with his friends, and Hunter returns to nursing home work. After all his struggles, he gained enough self-confidence to stop wearing the cone and confess his feelings to Maggie. A couple now. Maggie has found her rightful owner and joined the police detection squad as the best sniffer. Bug changed his mind about humans after saving Riley and was adopted by the little girl, who loved him every day. Reggie remains a street dog and enjoys playing with his friends in the neighborhood. He now helps abandoned dogs survive and find their worth because it's hard to do when your loved ones reject you. Despite living on the streets, Reggie is surrounded by people who care about him and help him when he needs it. If you like this movie, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel.